ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Fourth chapter, 27th shloka. अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः ज्ञानयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच सर्वाणीन्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते।
Others, again, sacrifice all the functions of the senses and the functions of the breath, vital energy, in the fire of the yoga of self-restraint, kindled by knowledge.
Yes. What is Bhagavan telling now? He is telling about the yagnas. So in the last few shlokas, we saw how people will be doing the yagna. Yagna, the meaning of yagna itself is doing the work without any expectation. So this yagna can be performed in so many ways in our daily life. So here, Bhagavan is telling sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagnau juhvati gnana dipite. Atma samyama yogagnau. See here, some of them will be controlling the sense organs. Controlling the sense organs or doing yagna with the sense organs means the sense organs are eyes, ears, nose, tongue and the skin. Sparsha. Shabda sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. So when we are doing the yagna, it doesn't mean that we take everything inside. It will be selected things which we give it to our sense organs. That is how we are going to control the sense organs. Atma Samyama Yogagnau. Atma Samyama Yogagnau means not only controlling these five sense organs, both mind and intellect also will be in our control only. That is the yagna we are doing. Yagna is nothing but, again and again I will tell you, yagna is something that which we do for our purity. To attain that divinity, whatever we do is called as yagna. So here many of them will be doing this Atma Sanyama Yoga Agno Juhvati Gnana Dipite. So when this intellect is trained properly, with that yoga agni, that gnana, knowledge, every ignorance will be burnt, and that ignorance is given as havis to the gnana, fire of gnana. Continuing. So different types of yagnas, we will continue like that. Dravya yagnastapo yagnaha yoga yagnastatha pare swadhyaya gnana yagnascha यतयः संशितव्रताः.
Others again offer wealth, austerity, and yoga as sacrifice, while the ascetics of self-restraint and rigid vows offer study of scriptures and knowledge as sacrifice.
And others, how will be doing? Others will be doing the yajna in what way? Dravya yajna and tapo yajna. It is called as dravya yajna means giving charity. Giving charity is called as dravya yajna. And others will be doing tapo yajna. Tapo yajna means taking the pinpricks, they call it as pinpricks for higher, to achieve something higher. Tapaha means to bear. See, tapaha means there is fire in front of you. It's really burning you, but still you're tolerating that for some higher cause. That is called as tapaha, tapo yagna. They say tapassu, right? When these rishis do tapas, they all meditate on God in spite of their physical ailments, or they're not able to sit, they're not able to fast for a long time. Still they sit at one place and do this tapas. That is called as tapaha. They, whatever difficulties comes to them, they bear that to achieve the higher goal. And others do yoga yagna and swadhyaya yagna. Swadhyaya yagna means study, self-study, swadhyaya. So some of them make it a principle to study every day. They study the scriptures each and every day at one particular time. That is called as tapas. And others do gnana yagna. Gnana yagna is, Chinmaya Mission is known for doing gnana yagnas. Gnana yagnas is whatever the gnana is received from the rishis, our Swamijis are giving it to the public or to anyone who comes to them without expecting any fees. That is also yajna. So here, dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. Again, yoga is practicing the right thing every day. It doesn't mean that it should be this yogasana only, physical yogasana. No, not. Practicing something every day, regularly, in spite of. That is, and swadhyaya yajna. Swadhyaya means studying every day. It is not like that one day I do and one day I don't do. No, no, it is not like that. Yajna means every day it has to happen. Gnana yajna, and giving knowledge to others, every day basis. So that is called as Gnana yajna. See, in Chinmaya Mission, this Gnana yajna is happening in such a way, especially Bhagavad Gita, Gita Gnana yajna. There are more than 300 centers all over the world. Anytime, and there are so many sevaks like me who are also trying to spread this message, study classes and all. At any point of time, 24/7, at one place or the other place, this Gita Gnana Yajna will be going on. Such beautifully Swamiji has planned. See, during day it is in our countries. If we think that it is night, somewhere in Western countries, this Yajna will be going on. So 24/7, Gita Gnana Yajnas are going on in Chinmaya Mission, I'll tell you. And that is how Swami Chinmayanandaji planned this study program and all. That is the greatest service. Gnana Yajna is the highest service or highest form of Yajna. Bhagavan Krishna says that in the next few shlokas. Apane juhvati pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapanagati rudva, pranayama parayanaha.
Others offer as sacrifice the outgoing breath in the incoming and the incoming in the outgoing, restraining the courses of the outgoing and incoming breaths, solely absorbed in the restraint of breath.
See, even the breathing, that also can be done as yagna. When we breathe in and breathe out. So we think that when the breathing in, that air which goes in is doing the homa with the air that is coming out. And the air that is coming out, what we breathe out, is doing the homa in the air that is going inside. So I told you, Yagna, now you should have the picture of putting the havis in the fire like that. So that yagna is going on. And controlling the breathing itself, that is also prana, pranapana-gati ruddhva pranayama parayanaha. So that prana is again the breathing itself. Keeping that in control in a systematic way, always having the mind on the breathing. See, breathing just happens. We never think of it. Only when we do pranayama, we bring our mind towards the breathing. Or else breathing is happening. Nobody is bothered about that. It just happens. Only when there is some suffocation, when there is no good air, we just think, oh, something is happening. I'm not feeling comfortable breathing. I'm breathing hard, only that time. Or when we do the pranayama, holding our nose, that time we think of our breathing, air going in and air coming. Or else we never think of that. But these yogis, keeping that prana also in control, they will be doing the yagna. Continuing. Apare niyatahara pranan pranishu jufati sarve pyete yagna vidaha yagna kshapita kalmashaha.
Others with well-regulated diet offer vital airs in the vital air. All these are known as sacrifice, whose sins are destroyed by sacrifice.
Yes. Apare niyata ahara. First thing, if we have to take a control over anything, it is food. That is the weakest point for most of us. We can't just tolerate, control ourselves from food. Many times we just get very excited about food, and eating is something, when you're hungry, food should be taken as medicine, they say. Food is a medicine. Hunger is a disease and food is medicine, they say. But what happens? One thing, we start eating just because of the taste. And nowadays there is, what they call as, when people are tensed also, they eat more, they say. This is more in many IT companies and all. They say when they are working, if they feel that they're stressed out eating or something like that, they start eating chocolates. So by the way they are eating, you will know that they are stressed. So here in this yagna, it is told, some of them also try doing this apare niyatahara, controlling the food. They eat food just as medicine. Hunger is a disease, and they take food only to suffice that, not more than that. That is also yagna. Apare niyataharaha pranan praneshu jufati sarve pyete yagna vidaha yagna kshapita kalmashaha. By eating only this prana vayu, we have studied about the pancha prana. So all these pana, apana, udana, samana, all those things. These things are controlled because of the food. The food which we take inside, it will be digested and it will be converted into energy and it will be circulated in the blood. And if there is anything extra, it is excreted either downwards or it comes out upwards. So there is a prana vayu which maintains all these things. So when we do this yagna properly, that is taking the food intake in a correct way, all these pranas are balanced. Prana praneshu jufati. That's how we will be doing the yagna with the pranas by eating correctly. Samyama, that is called as niyatahara. Ahara should be taken in a very proper way. Those what food we should eat and all comes in the next few chapters. So I'll not be going into the details of the food we take. One thing I always say is we should eat the food freshly prepared so that it is good for health. Never eat the food which is stale or very old. It should not have more spices or it should not be very hot. All those things should be followed. And untimely eating should be avoided according to your health. Okay, continuing. Yagnashishtamrita yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokostya yagnasya putonya purusattamam.
The eaters of the nectar, remnants of the sacrifice, go to the eternal Brahman. Even this world is not for the non-performers of sacrifice. How then the other world, oh best of the Kurus?
See? Yagnashishta mrita Yagnashishta, this is very important. See, when we do yagna, that is when we consider to this food thing, only for that I'll tell you. Yagnashishta, after doing the yagna, whatever is left, yagnashishta is that one. After giving everything, whatever remains, that is called as yagnashishta. Who takes that for himself? He doesn't live for his selfish way of living. The whole body is, that is why called as paropakarartham idam shariram. This body is meant for helping others only. So when we say yagnashishta, after giving everything, whatever remains to us, that we should enjoy. If a person lives like that, giving away everything and what is left he takes, he will go to Brahma. He will reach Brahma. See, Yagnashishtam Bhujaha Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Nayam Lokostya Yagnasya Kutonya Purusattama. So a person who doesn't do this yagna in any way, it could be with the food, it could be dravya yagna, so many yagnas are told. Whatever he does is yagna. If there is a person who doesn't do this yagna, he has no place in this world. When he doesn't have place in this world, where will he get a place in the other loka? That means he is not respected anywhere. He is not respected anywhere. So that is how a person has to live. See, all the Bhagavan, God has created this nature in such a way that everything in this world is giving, giving, giving and giving. Sun shines without expectation. Trees give shadow without expectation. Trees give fruits without expectation. Trees never say, see, I have so many mangoes in my tree, let me have few. Why should I give everything to this human being or someone who is taking away, or the birds? Everything is given. So that is how we too have to do yagna, Bhagavan says. So when there is meaning in life, that only that yagna gives meaning in our life. Continuing. Evam bahuvidha yagna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam gnatva vimoksyase.
Thus, innumerable sacrifices lie spread out before Brahman, literally at the mouth or face of Brahman. Know them all as born of action, and this knowledge you shall be liberated.
See, from where all these yagnas come? All these are born of karma, the work we do. And whatever yajna we are doing through karma is the means, it is not the goal, it is the means. So all these yajnas are born out of karma alone. By understanding this with the knowledge of the Vedas, we will be performing the yajnas, offering the ignorance into the fire of knowledge. So there are so many yajnas. It doesn't mean that you have to do all the yajnas. Choose anyone, whether it is Swadhyaya yajna, it is told Tapo yajna. Tapo yajna is, you know what, bearing your small pricks and pins to achieve something higher. So when we are doing one yajna, it is enough. Rest of them will follow by itself. So yagna, evam bahuvida yagna, there are so many yagnas which are explained in the Vedas. And all these are born from karma only. We are born because we have desires and we have to do karma. And doing karma just to enjoy the selfish, for our selfishness is not the right way of living. That is what Bhagavan has told here. So we should do the work as with the yagna bhava, do anything and everything. Karma is, of course, we have to do. Once we are born here, we have to do the karmas. And how should we do these karmas? With the yagna bhava. Evam gnatva vimokshase. By doing these karmas with the yagna bhava, we will be liberated. That's what is told finally here. Okay, continuing. श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयाद्यज्ञात् ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते.
Superior is knowledge sacrifice. To sacrifice with objects, O Parantapa, all actions in their entirety, O Partha, culminate in knowledge.
Yes. Among all these yagnas, which is the best one he is telling? Gnana yagna. Gnana yagna is giving the knowledge to others is the Shrestha, that is the superior one. Everywhere it is told like that. I think a common saying is that if you give a plate of rice or something to a beggar or a one who needs the food, you will be filling his stomach for that particular, lunch, dinner or breakfast. But if you teach him how to work, how to earn, he will be, by giving the gnana, he will be leading his life. Throughout his life, he will be able to earn his food. Or the other saying says, if you give a fish for a poor person for his lunch, it will be satisfying his one-time hunger. But if you teach him fishing, you will be able to teach him to earn his bread for the whole life. That is why Gnana Yagna becomes very, very, very important. So, Dravya Yagna is giving money. Dravya, I told you, charity. Than giving charity, this is more important. It doesn't mean that don't give that, you start teaching him. No. Only when he is filled with the stomach, he can sit to listen to all these things. For a hungry man, if you start giving Vedanta, he will say, no, bye, goodbye. You have your Vedanta, I will go. So, Bhagavan Krishna says, this is the highest form, Gnana Yagna. That is the best thing that we can do. By doing this, what will happen? All the karmas will end by itself. By giving this gnana, all the karmas will end by itself. That it could be agami karma, it could be prarabdha karma, and it could be sanchita karma. Sanchita karma is the stored karma. Prarabdha karma is the karma which has come to us, with which we have taken birth. And agami karma is the karma which we will be performing in this life. So all the three will be destroyed. We will be liberated from all that. Continuing. तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदीक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
Know that by long prostration, by question and surveys, the wise who have realized the truth will instruct you in that knowledge.
So, what is Bhagavan telling? To know the knowledge, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. How, see, if I have the gnana, I can give it to somebody. But how can I get that gnana? How can I get that knowledge? Here, Bhagavan says, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Go to your guru, go to your Mahatma, do seva there and ask him questions. With humbleness, be humble, ask the questions, he will be able to tell you. Then you see, upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninastattvadarshinaha. You should go and beg for the knowledge, it seems. It will not get that gnana very easily. When we study the Upanishads and all, there, see, only few people will want to have the gnana of Veda and Upanishad. Not all. Everybody, 90% of the people will be telling that we will enjoy this materialistic world. This life is nice. We will enjoy. Khana pe, khao, piyo, moj udao or jao bas. Only few people will get the question, what is the importance of this human life? Is it just eat, drink and make merry? Is it sufficient? If at all I had to do only that much, why should I be born as a human being? Because even animals do that. So there must be some higher purpose for taking this human birth. Such questions, very few of them would get. And they would try to find the answers. So to find the answers, they would go in search of a guru. And very few of them would get the right guru. And that guru will directly never give the answer to your questions. He would say, you do some service here. With the idea that the mind tuning will be there. So mind tuning means whatever guru says, the Shishya should understand in the same way. That is why they would ask them to do some service there. And after like that, very few students would be retained. And for them, when the guru gives the knowledge, only few of them would get. Only few of them would get that knowledge and they would work on that path and then realize. So here Bhagavan says, if you want that knowledge, tadvidhi pranipatena, it's very important, I tell you. If you have time, if you have the opportunity, please meet the Mahatmas. Just even if you don't have questions, go sit in front of them, have their darshan. You will get what you should get. I usually do that. If I see any Mahatma, if I know that there is somebody very knowledgeable, I go to them. Just sit there, just have their darshan. They will recognize you and talk to you if there is some question in you. It is like that. So this system is very nice and it is very miraculous, I tell you. And they will give you the solutions for the questions whatever questions we have in mind, it will be there in a subtle way. So when we go to a Mahatma, they will recognize and without asking the questions also, they may give the answers. That is how this knowledge is developed. And pariprashnena sevaya, go do seva and ask them questions. They will give you this knowledge. And whenever we go to a guru, we should go with Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. Shraddha we should have, and then lot of Bhakti we should have, and Dhyana. So only then we will be able to get the knowledge from them. One more shloka we will see. Yajnatvana punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshena drakshyasyatmanyatho mayi.
Knowing that You shall not, O Pandava, again get deluded like this, and by that you shall see all beings in yourself and also in me.
Yes. After getting the knowledge from the Mahatmas, what will happen? You will not be having any attachment. Then what will happen? You will be seeing Yena bhutanya seshena drakshasyaatmanyatho mayi. You will be seeing everyone in you in everyone. I think last week I was telling you about these Pandavas, the names, When we take the knowledge, Dharma, when we listen to Dharma with our ears, Karana, Dharmaraya, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva. So how that goes? When we listen to the Dharma through our ears and practice it, inculcate it like Bhimasena, and then like Bhima we inculcate, and after inculcating we'll be victorious like Arjuna, and then we become Sahati, we become Nakula. There is no Kula. That here, this is the point here. That means we will be seeing everyone in me in everyone. There is no difference at all. And then we will be one with the God, Sahadeva. So by doing this, going to Mahatma, getting the knowledge, practicing on that, we will be able to get liberated. That is what is told here. So going to a Mahatma is very important to get the right knowledge, and that Guru Shishya Parampara should always be maintained. That's how the shlokas, that's how this chapter starts. Guru Shishya Parampara. When it is maintained, all the Gnana will be understood properly. So God says everyone can go to a Guru and learn this Vidya. That is, the knowledge can be acquired by anyone and everyone. Okay. Hari Om.